Otakuology podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is my heterosexual co-host, life partner, Jin. How's it going today, sir?
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So today we are talking about a new show that just recently hit Netflix. We are talking about Pokemon Connoisseurs. Is that what it's called?
No, I think it's Concierge.
Did it say concierge? I don't know why I was thinking it was connoisseurs. Concierge. I'm a connoisseur of Pokemon.
God. Oh my God.
We're talking about Pokemon Connoisseurs, which is a 4-episode new
Concierge.
show. Concierge. What did I say?
Connoisseurs.
Concierge. Sorry,
You're gonna make it sound like we've been eating some Slowpoke soup.
I'm gonna be eating some Jigglypuffs later.
Oh my God. That's too dark. Too dark.
But we are talking about this new show. It is a new claymation show.
I need to find me some Jigglypuffs.
A new claymation show based in the world of Pokemon. It is a 4-episode show.
Is it fully claymation though?
I think it is pretty much. Like, I want to say it is claymation. It looks claymation.
Do you call it claymation if they use like threads and other things in it like that?
I would say so, because that's a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I try to ask somebody else, and they're like, "I don't know how to answer that question."
I would say so. Sure, I would say so. But this is an anime that you wanted us to talk about.
I did.
And
I just watched it, and I was selfish.
I can't believe we're talking about something that's so relevant. Because usually we're behind the curve when we podcast about anime stuff.
This is true. This is true.
We're always behind the curve, But this show centers around a young woman named Haru, and Haru is pretty much down on her luck. Like, her boyfriend broke up with her. I think she lost her job. I can't remember exactly what happened.
Yes.
But she goes to get a fresh start at this Pokemon Resort that's on an island, and we follow her.
I'm so stupid. I just grabbed my little Psyduck figure, and I was holding it up, and I was like, "Wait, we're a podcast. Nobody can fucking see me holding this duck."
But so Haru, it goes to this Pokemon Resort for where Pokemon and humans can coexist and have a vacation together, and she basically wants a fresh start, and that's where we begin our Pokemon journey with Haru, and we start with the first episode. You want to talk about the first episode, Jin?
Yes.
Okay.
So, starting out this one, I think I had to start out with something hilarious because I was watching this around my kid.
Uh-huh.
And as he's running through, I get to the part where Haru has made it to the island, and is like, they're kind of telling her like, "Hey, just enjoy the first setup of this."
Mm-hmm.
And so my son's in there, and he puts his hand up and he points and he starts yelling. He goes, "Look, Dad, there's your favorite guy." And I was like, "Which one?" I know who he's talking about, but he's like, "The big yellow guy right there. That's the dragon." And I was like, "You know what his name is?" He's like, "No." I go, "That's Dragonite." And he goes, "Dragonite." So, him already being in it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be a somewhat good show."
Yeah, most definitely.
You see your favorite Pokemon in it, it's got to be a good show. Okay.
I mean, it has to be a good show, right?
But so Haru gets here, and I can't remember the manager lady's name.
Oh, I don't remember what their names are. I remember Haru.
She's in it the first episode, and I think a little bit in the beginning of the second episode, but after that we don't see her again. But she
I'm gonna
tells
be
her the
honest.
layout. Well,
I feel like anybody other than like Haru is not really as much important
that's what I was trying to
in
tell
this
my brother
show.
when I talked to him earlier. I said, besides the main characters, there's only two other relevant characters that show up
Yeah,
repeatedly. And he was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, there are other people that work there."
yeah, they're very much like supporting characters, but they like only support when the story when Haru needs it, basically. Like needs
Right,
it
right.
to for information or to progress the story.
See, and that was one of the other weird things is like they said like you would have a job, and Haru didn't necessarily have a job through any of this.
Was her job to help Pokemon relax and find their way on the island?
Kind of, yeah, but I figured she would kind of do stuff like the other two people,
Uh
and she didn't really seem like she did anything like that.
huh.
You know what I'm saying?
I
But
mean,
besides Haru, I couldn't remember these other two characters' names, so let me tell you the names I came up with them.
okay, okay,
So the guy that was like the recreation teacher uh uh and the chef,
yeah, he did like yoga and stuff. Those monkey
yeah,
guys,
and he cooked.
yeah,
So he was Buff Shaggy.
buff, buff Shaggy,
Yeah. And then the other one, the other girl that had the mudkip.
yeah,
So I couldn't remember the other girl's name. I think it's
hmm
Connie, but I was calling her the girl from Big Mouth.
I've never seen Big Mouth.
Well, so there's a little girl in it that like is completely like innocent,
Uh
and
huh.
then you find out she's not, and you're like, and she looks like the adult version of her.
Okay.
And so that was the other one that was for that. And I was like, what the fuck? Um, but yeah, Haru gets kind of like the first day. It's like sit here, enjoy, kind of figure out how everything works here. She meets everybody, but there's not really a lot of stuff that goes on.
hmm
We do get to meet some of the Pokemon that are going to be there. We do get to see part of the Pokemon that are going to be there, and we kind of learn like the mission statement of what Pokemon Concierge is about,
hmm
which is basically a resort for people to come and visit, or for Pokemon to come and visit, wild or tamed.
Oh, I didn't know
And
they were wild or tamed.
yes, some of the Pokemon were wild, like the only one that we actually hear that is owned by somebody that the person's actually there with them is the other girl concierge that has the mudkip.
Oh, okay.
But they met there.
Okay.
The other guy, I don't think Panpour, Pansage, and Panseer are actually his guys.
Okay.
Um,
What
but yeah,
generation do those Pokemon come from?
oh, like Generation 5.
Okay, because I was like, I don't know what those Pokemon are. Like,
They they come in uh what is it? They come in, and it was really weird how it starts off because the people that own them are three brothers, like the Eevee brothers, but it's these
uh
three brothers, and they're all chefs, and each one of them have one of these monkeys.
okay, okay,
And so the green haired brother, the Pan Sage one, ends up leaving, and the other two brothers stay and watch the gym.
okay. Because
Um,
we were watching this. Me and Tiffany were watching this,
yeah,
and she was like, "Who are these guys? Who are these guys? Who are these?" And like, I couldn't tell her who the newer generation Pokemon were
yeah.
because I was like, I don't even know who these Pokemon are. Like,
I could name a good chunk of them, but when it came down to like other things, I'm like, I don't know how to like describe like
I
what
knew
gym they're in.
Generation One and Generation Two fairly ish well,
Yeah.
but I was like when I was watching this, I was like, I don't know who some of these people are. I can't help you with those questions.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean I could name off of, a good chunk of all of them. Because we didn't have like really any weird ones like the ice cream
No.
cone guys or anything like that.
No, they I think they played it fairly safe
I think they
with,
did too.
with their Pokemon choices, but I wonder if it comes down to like how they are able to move them around in like the claymation animation like, you
Yeah,
know.
that's a good actually observation because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because it really seemed like to me that the only ones that were kind of out of place, because we had a lot of guys that were generation 1, 2, and 3,
Mhm.
and then it seemed like the pan monkeys were the only ones that were from another generation that we didn't really see everything of.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we,
Yeah,
you see Diglett and you see Pidgeot and you see Golem or Graveler and the Magikarp and Gyarados and things like that. But
Pikachu.
Pikachu, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't see like a bunch of other things. I mean, Mudkip, you know, Bulbasaur. But other than that, oh, and we saw Snorlax at one point. Other than
Yes.
those guys, though, like really Generation 1, 2, and 3 were the most I feel like we saw
Yeah,
it.
because like when I was watching it, I think Wobbuffet maybe even shows up at one point. Um,
Probably.
but when I was watching the Pokemon uh, Concierge, I was like, man, they keep reusing like the same Pokemon. I,
Yes.
I I wonder if it like which made me think, oh, did they pick these particular Pokemon because of how the claymation animation works? Is it easiest to do? Or are these Pokemon that they wanted to animate particularly?
I
As a
feel like that's
studio,
probably what I would put money on is it was ones that they probably enjoyed
because
and they added some others.
I feel like we get Psyduck in here, who is essentially the second main character in the new Pokemon show, which was
Yes.
very surprising when we get Psyduck in here.
So so adding that in here,
Uh huh.
I have to tell you another name for Haru.
Okay.
So whenever Psyduck came in and what Haru's hair looks like and all this other stuff, I ended up calling her Rip Off Misty. Because like in many ways a lot of things of how her character just seemed like she was supposed to be, and then getting Psyduck, I was like, rip off Misty. That's exactly what they did, you know.
I guess I can kind of see that in a way, but Haru didn't hate Psyduck. Misty like hated Psyduck.
She was just upset with him because when he got taken at one point, she was like, "No, Psyduck."
But you want to know what's one thing when I was like doing a little bit of research for this show, I
Yeah,
wanted to know who like the voice cast were. And the voice
yeah.
cast is like other than the Pokemon, it's like 4 or 5 people. And so the voice of
Oh,
Haru,
for sure.
the voice of Haru is I don't know, have you ever watched The Boys?
Yes.
So the voice of Haru is the actress who plays the female in The Boys.
The
She's the mute girl who doesn't talk.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. She's the one who like joins the boys in their like their little group that they have. She's like the only female member of that group and she likes mutant. She has like superpowers and stuff. So
Yeah.
when I found that out, I was like, "Oh, damn." So in my head, I was like, I
You've fallen
wonder.
so far.
So in my head, I was like I started like warping around this head canon where like because in the boys, the female ends up like I think her name's like Yuriko or something. I don't remember what her name is, but they call her like the female. Uh, in that show, she like starts like daydreaming and hallucinating a little bit. And I was like, huh. I wonder if is the Pokemon kind of is the Pokemon show. Is that just like a hallucination in her head?
Oh my god.
So I started to go down this weird, like, deep dive, like, rabbit hole in my brain. I was like, oh,
Oh good god.
yeah. So, like, I couldn't unsee it in my head. And, like, I was like, oh, Haru, like, when are you going to rip that Pikachu's face off? Come on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't rip off the face.
But yeah, like you said, Haru goes to work at this place, and
Is that the only relevant voice
as
actress in
far as
this?
far as I can tell, yeah,
Okay.
she was like the biggest one I can tell. I don't know. The other ones were like regular voice actors, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, but like you said, as Haru goes to work at this resort, she has to find her way through the resort because they tell her, make the Pokemon feel the way like you feel, happy,
Yeah,
having
after her
having
first day.
yeah, after her first day, So we get into the different particular episodes where like she ends up meeting Psyduck, and Psyduck actually uh works with Haru, which is a whole fun little thing to see Psyduck working with her. It's really funny. But one of my favorite episodes is it's with her and Psyduck, and they meet the Magic Carp, who can't like
Yes.
swim well. So they put like a
Oh my
flotation
god,
device
right?
around him, and so
I
they
this is well, it's funny you say that because this is one of my favorite ones too.
okay. And so they put he has a flotation device around him, and they're like, I think they're like feeding the Magic Carp at one point, and the flotation device ends up like, I think does Psyduck take it off of him? I can't remember exactly.
No, I think he like bounces the wrong way and it
He
comes off.
he comes off, and they have to go track down this particular
Well, they have
like,
to save him first because he
yeah,
can't swim.
they have to save him first because he can't swim, and, and they go track this flotation device down, and he ends up getting popped by Snorlax because he accidentally lays on it. And when I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, oh, finally Snorlax shows up, my favorite Pokemon. And Tiffany turns to me and she's like, hey, isn't that Snorlax? And I was like, yeah, it's Snorlax. And she was like, I didn't realize he was so big. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's pretty big. But I love it. Like, they go through all this stuff to get the flotation device back. They don't get it back, and like, because of, like, I guess the power of friendship, the Magikarp ends up evolving into a Gyarados, and that's kind of where like that episode ends and stuff. It's a
Yeah.
real.
But it was great.
It was great. It really was, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, I started to really get into the concept of this show in a
Yeah.
way, like, because like the first episode didn't really knock me out of the park. I was just so on the first episode. After the first episode, when they introduced Psyduck and stuff, I really got more into it
Yeah.
because I feel like Psyduck is a really good. I don't. He's not a foil, but like a good companion for Haru in
Yes.
a way, because Psyduck at one point like starts stalking Haru. We don't really know why Psyduck is stalking Haru, but he is.
Right. He's just drawn to her for whatever reason.
Whatever reason. And yeah, there's like a whole bunch of different things, that
Yeah.
happen.
See, and honestly, I feel like I didn't even need like the full length episodes of all these. I would have almost liked like some of the other Pokemon stuff that's done on YouTube
Uh huh.
where they're not even like 20 minutes long. It's like 5-minute increments
Yeah.
because like we could have like focused on part of the other Pokemon and just
Mm-hmm.
got their little stories. And I think that was one of the things that I really enjoyed was the little stories from some of the other Pokemon that were there,
Mm-hmm.
like how we got the whole thing, which is how I knew part of the stuff that I said earlier of of that some people just sent their Pokemon there and didn't actually go there with their Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have the whole thing where uh Graveler, his trainer's coming to pick him up, and so it's almost like a daycare center at that point.
Yeah.
And they talk about it, and Graveler's like moping because he doesn't technically want to leave, but he doesn't want to not be with his trainer, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, what do you do with that? And they got to like, talk him literally off of a cliff and do all that other stuff and just kind of figure it out. Um, but like the other two characters, even though they're not the human characters, even though they're not very like into the story very much, I do feel like they make lasting impressions on you of stuff.
Are you talking about like the other like three the human characters?
Like the
That
other two.
the
The
other ones that
manager, I don't think we can count her because we don't see her anymore after episode 1,
the
really.
ones that work there.
Yeah,
Um, I
because they're
think
usually the pivotal people that kind of carry more of the situation that set up how we know what the problems are.
yeah, and they kind of
Like
help Haru on the
yeah,
along the way and stuff like that. You know.
yeah, like you said about the Magikarp, we knew from Buff Shaggy of about the Magikarp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
He told us that.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we have the other girl and how she does different stuff. And like when they were drawing the Pokemon on the tent or whatever, and the Pidgeot flies through, in through part of it and rips the whole side of the thing.
Yeah.
We have stuff like that, which that's one of my other favorite parts too. I think because we have Haru who asks if she can help paint, and she's painting this thing on the side, and we're looking at it, and it's like, oh, that's a really screwed up Pikachu, and the other girl looks at it and goes, "I like your Psyduck,"
Oh yeah, that's true. That
and
is
you're
true.
just like,
Like, come on.
you're like, that does kind of look like it's in the middle between a Psyduck and a
And
Pikachu.
a Pikachu, yeah. Yeah. And so like Haru goes about like solving different problems, like, trying to like get rid of Psyduck's headache and stuff like that, and like help Psyduck like control its powers. She's very much I don't want to say like the Pokemon whisperer or Pokemon problem solver in a way, but that's what it really
It's because the candy.
it's because the candy.
Yeah, it's because
But
of her
that
Pokemon candy.
but that's what it like really seems like. And I really
Yeah,
feel like the show the show plays it safe, but also kind of takes risks because one, this is a
I,
very
I
very different.
agree.
It's a very different setting, and there's no battling at all. It's just like a slice of life Pokemon show. I
It
would have to
is.
say,
Yes.
and
Yes. I for sure agree with that.
and like she goes around trying to solve these problems like the Magikarp, and then the one that kind of really got me as well is the Quiet Pikachu episode, which is the very last episode
Yeah.
of the show, where like this little boy shows up with his Pikachu, and they have like a Pikachu like fan club meet and greet type of thing where everybody has a Pikachu.
Yeah.
And the little boy is like worried that his Pikachu is so scared of everything, and the Pikachu's always quiet. He's like Pika Pika.
Yeah.
Uh, and like Haru like takes it upon herself to help Pikachu find its voice and become louder, which she like tries to like all these different things, like trying to get to go zip lining, but the Pikachu's afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Taking it, to the cliff. I think it's the same part where they take it to the cliff, and like they're like like yelling across the canyon.
Yeah.
very little fun little touches, and like it also like she ends up bringing the Pikachu and his trainer, the Pikachu's trainer, like closer together in a sense.
Yeah,
Very much understanding because he's a young child, probably about like 8, 9, maybe. And his
yeah.
parents let him travel to an island by himself. Always a good sign.
Great parenting.
Great parenting in the Pokemon
Yeah.
universe.
Well, and I mean, I guess it really is good parenting because I mean, how many 10-year-olds start their journey? So I mean, nine, it doesn't seem like it's out there that far out of control. Whenever it's
I
like, oh
guess,
yeah,
yeah.
most kids start their journey at 10. Um, no, I completely agree with you. I do think that it takes some risk that do pay off, and you do get kind of the other side of like all of the Pokemon world and everything because like we have at the beginning of one episode where a hip hop evolves,
Yeah.
and of course we have the one with the magic carp and other stuff like that, and it really seems like part of the evolution is just from like rest and relaxation, so getting
Yeah.
some R&R, and it's not all about battling. And so while this one is very Pokemon-esque, it does pull away from a lot of the regular things we're used to seeing with Pokemon.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, do you remember like those shorts that you would get like at the beginning of like the Pokemon movies where it'd be like Pikachu and friends, Pikachu and like
Yeah.
the rest of
Pikachu's
Ash's
granted
Pokemon.
Pikachu's Grand Adventure.
Pikachu's great. Yeah, it reminded me kind of a little bit like that.
Yeah. Or
Where
the
like,
Christmas specials. Yeah.
or the Christmas specials, but it was really interesting. I do, as much as I like this. I wonder about like what it would be like if like they extracted all the human characters out and just had the Pokemon.
Oh,
You
like not
know,
even having like Haru or anything?
yeah, not even having Haru in this. Like, what would
Oh,
it
I
be
don't
like?
know. I don't know. Cause I feel like
Do you
I
feel like
feel
Haru's
like
like the driving force in this anime?
I feel like the three characters that we got are the driving force
Hmm.
just because we don't know how to speak Pokemon.
True, true. But
And if we
imagine like,
were gonna, and I think it would be possible the way you're saying it
hmm
would if the episodes were shorter, because then it would be kind of like the before the movie, like the Pikachu and Friends
yeah,
episodes and stuff. But like doing that for 20 minutes, I do not think it would work out.
maybe like 10 minutes,
Yeah, no, maybe less than that, because I don't know
maybe.
if we'd want Pika Pika, Sigh, Pika Pika,
Yeah.
Mudkip, like, you know,
That was just a thought that I had like when I was watching this show.
yeah.
Like I was like, huh, I wonder because like I really want to know like what the creative process was for this and like how long like it really took for them to make the claymation because like the Pokemon in this like looked really good.
I think everything in this looked really good.
Well,
At
I can
times, at times, I feel like Haru had a really long neck.
see where I think the show kind of falters is like in the humans designs. Like I didn't really
Okay,
care for any of the human designs, but like everything else, like the backgrounds, the environments, the Pokemon, like I really liked
yeah,
in this.
yeah. Well, and so the other funny thing is like the subtleness, and I think the best part about really how to describe any of this
Uh-huh.
and like the feel that you'll kind of get um is this question that my brother asked me earlier about it, because I told him that we were going to cover this,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Well, does it have an opening song?" And I said, "Yeah, let me do it for you." And I go, do 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 do, and then I said, and then I go, Pokemon Concierge. I said, that's basically the opening. Like you get a
Yeah.
little like drop tune, and then you get where they have the whole thing. Like, I mean, it's just like the GameCube opening or the Nintendo
Yeah.
opening. Like, it's just a really short, sweet, like 5-second
Which,
jingle,
which is
maybe not even
funny.
that long,
Which is
and then you
funny
go, you
because
start it.
like when you get to the end of the episode, you have like the whole like outro sequence with where it has like the credits and stuff. Then you would get like a little thing at the end, like a little stinger of like a Pokemon doing something or whatever.
I don't even think I saw that.
Yeah, yeah. So like if you wait, you wait through the credits for the ending, and then like it'll be like, oh, a Bellsprout like put on a pair of glasses and starts dancing, in front of a mirror type of thing. Like it's
I'll
just
have to
like
go back. I'll have to
yeah,
go back
just
and look at that.
the little subtle details they
I
have.
think I think my Netflix was like, oh, credits skip. Like it
Okay.
automatically just skipped it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I only saw the one, and it was the one at the end with the Bellsprout. Because
Yeah.
I was like, when I was watching this, I was like, huh, why is there so much time left? Because like
Right.
it would end at like
Right.
it would end at like 19 minutes or whatever, and I was like, huh. So like I scrolled through like the little music, and I was like, oh, there's a little thing at the end, like a little stinger at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like this is kind of like the perfect length, even though I kind of want more episodes. Like I would like to see this kind of continue into like a season 2, but I
Right.
do truly feel like that 4 episodes was the perfect amount of episodes.
See,
Like
and I feel like too, I would have liked at least some more episodes. Maybe like 6 episodes or something, or for us to get like another season two or
like
season
I
two
would love to have a season
fast.
2. I would love to have a season
Um,
2 where we possibly get more Pokemon.
right, yes. And
But
I
they
think
gotta
I
bring
think
they
it would
gotta bring
be
Psyduck back.
I think it would be fun if they did that and they maybe included a few more people because
Maybe.
um while I do feel like that, I feel like like I said, the people are kind of what added to some of the problems that let you know like why certain Pokemon the way that they were.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that aspect. But I personally feel like it was a perfect amount of episodes. Like I didn't feel like when I was binging it, I didn't feel like I was rushing through it. I was like, I mean, I watched it in like the span of like was like an hour, less than an hour, maybe. I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a fun watch. Like I did really enjoy it. I liked the fact that we can tell these other stories in the Pokemon universe that aren't the same old Pokemon
Same
stories.
old, same old.
Yeah, the same old, same old.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it almost kind of in that way as well would have been like if we would have went on an adventure with Brock.
Maybe, yeah, I could see that.
Just not as a Pokemon trainer, but as Brock the nutritionist that is making Pokemon food and is looking after Pokemon's well-being, like, you know, things like that. Like I felt like that's probably the closest thing we would have gotten
Yeah,
with this, that's what it was. It was
yeah.
basically like
Oh,
a Brock without his Pokemon kind of journey that we would have gotten
mhm.
with all this stuff.
Which makes me, if we do get a season 2, because I know this is kind of somewhat popular.
Yeah.
I, w- I would love for a season 2. But it really made me question because this was so far out of the norm. It made me question what universe is this a part of? Is it a part of the anime universe? Is it a part of the video game universe? Like, what universe are we really working in?
Yeah. Or
Like,
is it its own universe?
or is it its own universe? It's an
Yeah.
alternate universe, you
Right.
know? Because, like, there are subtle differences. Like, we never see
it's the Detective Pikachu
the
universe.
Detective Pikachu verse.
Yeah.
Because, like, we never see anybody with, like, a Poke device. I think they had cell phones at one point in this show. You know, so like they have like technology and stuff that seemed more like to like our world
Right.
almost, you
Right.
know. So it was interesting to see that, and like I don't really have any negatives about this other than like I didn't really connect with the first episode. I also fell asleep watching the first episode because it was so calming.
See, and I also feel that way as well. The show was very calming,
It was.
and it almost seems like if they did make more, that I feel like they could use this to help people go to sleep.
True, true.
You
Yeah.
know, just because like it's familiar, you know, like the music that's with it, the stuff, like everything is very like easy on the ears, easy on the eyes. Um, you know, there's not a lot of stuff that you have to worry about watching it.
That's true. You don't really have to keep up with the complicated story at
Right,
all, you know?
right. I agree. And every episode is kind of like in and of itself, like wrapped up with a bow,
Hmm.
so to speak. Besides the first one, like obviously you'd have to have the first one to know why she's there, and but then I feel like after that, after you've watched through this once, I feel like you could split up all the episodes however you wanted to, like you know, and just sit back and like either put it on in the background or something like that, and really just use it as like your mood music, you know.
Yeah. I definitely feel that way as well. You know, you could do that, put it on as background more noise. And I also feel like this is a show for Pokemon fans, but it's also a show for like possibly just anybody in a sense.
Yeah.
Like,
See, and I'm gonna say that too. I'm gonna agree with you on it's for Pokemon fans, but I also feel it's like those Pokemon fans that don't necessarily they love Pokemon, but they don't care for the games.
yeah, they're not in the nitty gritty of Pokemon. You could say
Because
it's like a
I
casual
felt like
Pokemon show.
yeah, I felt like as cute as this was, it would be like somebody grabbing their Pokemon plushies and sitting down, like hugging them and watching this and being like, "Oh my god, I love this," you know, like
Yeah.
and not really focused on like how we imagine like young boys that you know are playing the video game were like haha, you know, like turn their hat around, throw their pokeballs and
It,
like all this
it's
other stuff. I don't think that's like what
it's
this
kind
is.
of like it's kind of like you say that it's kind of like do you remember like the Lego movie when like we find
Yes.
out that like, it's a little boy playing with Legos? I
Yeah.
feel like go with me on this. It's actually probably like a little girl playing with like Pokemon figures.
Oh my god.
Like,
I'm playing with my dolls.
yeah, playing with my dolls type of thing. Like that's what
Yeah.
it kind of seemed like almost, like
Or like her mom sewing all the characters together.
and like making the little dolls for them, and then she's like bringing them to this like fictional Pokemon world, playing with their little Pokemon like
Yeah.
figures. I don't know, but that's interesting to think about, like the possible theories of
That would be really interesting, yeah.
because like it's just so far outside of the normal Pokemon world.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that that's where it also works as well is, there's no you don't really need any prior knowledge at all. You don't need to watch any other shows.
Obviously not, because somebody asking you all the
Okay,
Pokemon,
okay, fine, whatever.
and you like,
Okay, I
I don't know who some of those guys are.
I personally feel that you can take somebody like my girlfriend who
Yeah,
doesn't really know Pokemon and only knows Pokemon through like the kids at her job that she works at because they
yeah.
play Pokemon, and then me who has like some of the Pokemon manga around and kind of references Pokemon and
Has played Pokemon games
has played
before,
Pokemon games before,
you know,
and like
buys models.
we don't like in our normal conversations, like I never really bring up Pokemon, and yet she was able to sit down, watch this with me, and enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed it. As
So,
somebody
so
who is
you
a
saying that makes me think of something I did.
what?
I had one of my exes basically sit down because they'd never seen Pokemon,
Uh huh.
and we watched through all of the Indigo League,
Uh huh.
and then I made them a 50 question quiz
Oh, jeez.
so that they could go through it. They had to answer questions, and the worst part is it was 50 questions, and I think that they got like 16 right. And I'm like, are you really paying attention?
Oh god. See, I don't think I would ever do that. That's kind of fucking hardcore.
But it was easy,
Yeah.
so easy. Like, I think the most complicated question was like, what does this Pokemon do? And like, I included pictures. Like, I worked hard on this shit, okay? And I was like, and I even did like the really like cheap questions where it's like, which one of these Pokemon is brown? And then like you had to pick which Pokemon it was.
So when you first told me about this show,
Yeah,
like I for some reason like I hadn't really seen like a trailer for it. I had seen like a picture here or there. And for some reason I associated it with the do you remember the Pokemon Cafe game that was on the
maybe
Switch?
no.
So yeah, there's this Pokemon Cafe game. It's free on the Switch. And that's what I thought it was gonna be. I didn't expect it to be, hey, let's go to a resort and relax and like have a Pokemon like vacation, basically.
Its
But
own standalone thing.
yeah, it's its own standalone thing. Yeah,
Pokemon standalone complex.
no, it's not Pokemon standalone complex. I don't remember what exactly it is. I just remember my Allison, my daughter, played it a lot
Yeah.
for on the Switch. So that's what I thought it was
So,
gonna be.
well,
But
here's our final closing question. What would you rate this?
oh god. Um I would give it a 4, like a strong 4.
Okay.
Like
I would say
I
I
really
would say
enjoyed
Gen 2 is throwing up some bangers recently with our
uh-huh.
Batman one that we covered.
Uh-huh.
And this one, cuz I too would give this one a 4.
Like I really enjoyed it. I thought the animation was like spot on and they did a really good job like incorporating like the Pokemon style
Yeah.
into the animation, and the quality of animation was really good. You know, they took something in a 2D aspect, put it in a 3D like like
3D
frame,
animation aspect.
3D animation frame, because
Yeah.
it's not 2D anymore, it's 3D. They took that and they did stuff, I hate to say it, they did stuff that like was way better animated even than like the actual like Detective Pikachu movie, which used 3D animation, I feel like. Even though
Yeah.
like
Well, and I
but
think it's just cuz they changed the medium that it was done
yeah,
through.
true. Like I thought it was really, really well done, and I think people should definitely check this out. It's something like it's definitely I feel like the true meaning of slice of life, because we take this person's slice of life from when she breaks up with said boyfriend to like the ending with like the her journey, like you know at the end, it's literally a chunk of her life,
Right.
and I just thought it was very well done. And I do feel like I would like to see what if the ex-boyfriend comes back to the island,
Oh my
like comes to the
god.
island and like he brings like a Pokemon or something. Like, are we gonna get like more like drama related Pokemon concierge type of thing?
See, this is true. I agree.
You know? But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I give it a strong 4. Um, it like I would say only a 4 because it didn't click with me at first with that first episode. It was just the first episode is just kind of okay for me,
Yeah.
but it does pick up after that in a very strong way. Like it ends
Right.
very very strong.
I'm gonna just go with the 4 because I feel like it needs something, but I can't
Uh-huh.
quite put my finger on what it needs.
Mm, more episodes?
Maybe more episodes,
More episodes, you know? You never know.
But man, so you're falling behind because I'm throwing up some bangers. Tokyo Godfathers, Merry Little Batman, Pokemon Concierge. So I guess you're gonna have to pick our next one.
Okay, I'll have to pick our next one, okay. Okay, I think I know what I want to cover next time.
Oh my god.
But you got to go pull it out of your collection.
Out of my collection?
Yeah. I want to talk about Volume 1 of Gundam The Origins.
That's gonna be a lot of reading. Okay. I can do it.
Yeah.
So,
Because I haven't
but
even started it yet.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, so we might have to do this like gotta read them all.
I don't know about that.
Gonna the
You know, I say that, but now I'm instantly regretting my choice because I'm like, oh shit, now I got to go read this massive book.
exactly. I feel like from your point of view, it's like you're gonna say this where you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this, and then I fire back, I'm like, yeah, let's cover it all, and you're like, oh shit, I overstepped my bounds on this. We're gonna be reading all of it and covering all of it just because of Jin being like, yeah, let's go gung ho, woohoo.
I mean, that book is pretty massive.
Oh, it is. I feel like you could use it as an object of murder if somebody broke into your house.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true because it's like just the first volume. Like, damn, this book's heavy. And
No
there's like
shit.
what, like 10 more volumes?
I think there's 14 altogether.
14 volumes? Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely recommend this show. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Don't forget to
Right?
rate and review the podcast, share the podcast with your friends, leave us some feedback on Spotify, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Right. See you next Tuesday.